Good afternoon and welcome to the 2014 Lola Tauman Prize for Achievement in Fashion Design. Outstanding achievement in fashion design. We are honoured that Lola's children, Jimmy and Sarah, are here with us today. Thank you for coming, and to your friends and family. Thank you for this wonderful prize, which we hope will fulfil your wishes of preserving your mother's generosity, character, and passion. Your mother, Lola Tauman, was born in Kielce, Poland, in 1920, into a family of textile merchants. She was a beautiful girl who loved fashion and ice skating and enjoyed a comfortable youth until the outbreak of World War II. Lola's elder brothers were deported and shot, and other family members were killed in Treblinka. Lola survived the ghettos, camps, and pogroms, only to realize that she was the sole survivor of her entire family. After traveling through Poland and Germany, Lola settled in Hamburg, where she started a new family and in the 1960s returned to her fashion roots. She founded Coco Moderne, the first French-style boutique in Germany. From a fashion shop to creating her own designs and labels, celebrities and royalty were attracted to her designs, and Lola became a celebrity in her own right. Not only did people come to her shop for the latest trends, but also to see this remarkable lady. After Lola passed away in 2010, her children, Sarah and Jimmy Rmbiszewski, decided to create a prize in memory of their mother, which would assist a graduating fashion student at Bצלאל to set up their own business through both a monetary prize and accompanying mentoring. We at Bçlאל are truly proud and moved to be associated with honoring the memory of Lola Tauman. I would like to introduce Professor Eva Luz, President of Bçlאל, to say a few words.
Thank you, Liv. As a president of this very powerful institution, I get quite often to thank philanthropists. But I have to say that in this particular case, I not only want to thank the philanthropists, Jimmy and Sarah, I also want to say in a very personal way what a pleasure it is to honor the memory of a remarkable woman. So Lola Tauman, we are here not only to honor the exceptional student here, Lital Sadeh, and we are all very happy to do it, but we are also here to honor the memory of this remarkable woman who, as Liv, I think, alluded to briefly, gave a proof of her extraordinary courage and love of life. And I thought about fashion, actually, and I thought about the fact that fashion is one way, really, of honoring life. It's a way of honoring the body, of making beautiful the body. And I think the choice of Lital Sadeh, from what I know of Coco Moderne, which is the line that Lola Tauman herself created in Hamburg. I think that the choice of this student and this cloth would have given great pleasure to Lola Tauman. So I want to say what a pleasure it is to honor Lital Sadeh, our exceptional, outstanding student. And I want to thank Jimmy and Sarah for honoring the memory of a remarkable woman with us.
Thank you, Professor Luz. This is the third year that we are awarding the Lola Tauman Prize. The 2013 winner was Shadi Abed, and I'm delighted to welcome him back to tell us a little bit about his achievements this past year. Shadi.
צהריים טובים, שלום לכולם. I'm really honored to be here today. I'm here to share with you this this ceremony. Thank you for Jimmy and everyone to give me this opportunity to have an amazing year after I finished the school. I will remind you. I will start with my final project, just to introduce myself and to remind you what I did the last year in Bצלאל. Actually, directly after I finished the final project, I start working on a couple of pieces. I'm still using my prints. I made a mini collection. I sell it in a boutique store in the city center. I used the prints, the same prints I used in the final project. Actually, I made the collection by myself. And sell it. It was a quite success. It was nice to make super wearable, comfortable pieces that came from the final project. In November 2013, directly after I honored the Lola Tauman Prize, I had a flight to New York. I was accepted to internship in 3S4. 3S4 is an alternative brand that showing in New York for more than 12 years. I was the responsible of the dresses there. The dresses they can see, I designed them and made them by myself. It was an amazing experience there. I learned a lot, and it was amazing to, like, in a couple of months you finish studies and go directly to international brand and work in an international studio and participate in spring summer New York Fashion Week. It was amazing. In February I came back. I was almost two months in down, no energies to do anything after the amazing experience in New York. But a good friend was pushing me forward to to start doing something with myself. I decided to do a small collection of tank tops using old prints and new prints. It's super wearable tank tops for summer, very comfortable, like easy to wear, easy to sell. A lot of guys was asking me to do shirts with my prints, so I did it for them. I sell them by Facebook. I sell them in Dizengoff Center, and I sell them in a bar in Haifa. I call the collection Made in the Holy Land. After that, the summer came and the wedding season started. A lot of clients called me. They want personal design for evening dresses. You know, the girl come with a specific idea. she have her vision, what kind of dress she wants, and I need to make her dreams come true, considering her body, the color, the fabric, and a lot of things. Actually, sometimes I feel myself like a psychologist before a designer. Like I need to be a psychologist, connecting with the women before being a designer. My customers, not only young ladies, they are old ladies too. She's not old, but you know, it's oh, well, God, let's say it's not 36 size, okay? I'm sorry. They got the money, absolutely, yeah. No, well, you can't. It's not a collection. Again, it's a personal design. So the dresses are very different from each other. But I'm trying to do the best for each client. It's include a very high techniques. I'm working with two dressmakers in the north. I'm based in the north. I'm living with my parents now, actually. Actually, it's my first. This is my first, my very first bridal dress. It's a very close friend, childhood friend. It was really emotional to spend the all your life with a girl, and finally to design a dress for her and to see her getting married. Like she's like a sister for me. I'm planning to open my own studio, my own boutique in the north, in the old area of my village, near the church. It's a very touristic area too. There is an old building that they develop it. It's very nice inside. I'm planning to have my own studio and my own boutique there for the next season. And of course, a new collection is coming for the summer. These dresses, again, it's not a collection, but I will have my own collection with my signature for the next season. This is the second bridal. I opened my Facebook page, like my official Facebook page. It includes more than 1,100 followers. Actually, it's a really good way to to introduce yourself and to get known. That's it for today. Thank you. My connections.
שלום לכולם. אני אדבר באנגלית לכבוד האורחים. We are here to celebrate again an act of generosity of Sarah and Mr. Rambishevsky in memory of their mother, Lola Tauman. This year's choice is Lital Sodeh. Lital was a very serious and dedicated student. The research of her projects was thoroughly deep and intensive. She created a personal handwriting and designed 6 outfits, plus shoes and bags. She used high-quality fabrics and printed her own linings on silk. These qualities will help her to develop her final project to a more commercial line and keep on expressing her personal handwriting. This act of granting every year a talented fashion graduate from Bצלאל is very important, especially in Israel. In Europe, young designers can move between countries with no problem. They have a lot of opportunities. While here, we are a small country and we cater to local market only. Now, with the help of the internet, maybe there will be a change, there's already a change of marketing system that can reach worldwide. The young designers in Israel have created a situation that is not very popular in Europe or USA. A small fashion studios and boutiques where they create and produce and sell their designs. It is similar to what Lola Tauman maybe did years ago, small successful boutique in Hamburg. Lital's mission is to arrive in the future, creating a high fashion brand in Israel with high level of quality and production. This is not an easy task, but very important one. As it is here, Israel, that we have to improve the level of fashion in the streets, it takes a while to arrive to this goal. She has to learn and have more practice and experience before she starts her own studio. So right after graduating, she started internship with very experienced and good designer, Elian Stolero. And as we know, talent is not enough. You need experience, hard work, and finance in order to start and succeed. So I want to thank again Mr. Rambishevsky and Sarah for giving Lital the first chance of financing her first steps. I hope this prize will go on being the goal to be reached for our fashion students. I want to bless the 4th year students, סטודנטים של שנה ד' שיתחילו, that they will start to think about reaching really, you know, they're going to compete next year, hopefully, and thank you again.
Between deconstruction and construction. I will begin by presenting the collection, and then I will describe the design process. The starting point of my collection was the theory of hybridization in nature. By definition, hybridization is mating between two plants or two animals of different species or varieties in order to get new and better species. As part of my research, I have visited labs that develop and nurture new fruit varieties through hybridization between known fruits. Their goal is to provide a better fruit, more delicious, more colorful, larger and tastier. The next step was to apply the hybridization concepts in the fashion world. During the working process, I have created artificial connections and hybridizations of different known figures by dissembling and reconstructing them. The collection contains 6 outfits made of natural fabrics as wool, silk, cotton, and raffia. The linings are made of fruit prints that I've printed on silk fabrics. The unique shoes combine goat leather and the fabrics from my collection. Let me describe the design process. At the beginning of October 2013, I submitted the project idea with the following design goals: developing unique figures, creating unique textile and crafts, having a colorful collection, designing unique shoes that are part of the collection vision. While researching the concept of hybridization in nature, I read about the different hybridization definitions and explored where they were being done. During this research, I have reached Ben Dor, a family company that develops and nurtures new and high-quality fruit varieties. At my visit there, I was exposed to the way they divided the fruit by their taste, shapes, lifespan, and by the colors of their peel and of their flesh. Ben Dor aims to produce better and interesting fruits with longer shelf life. They also explain to me how they do genetic hybridization in fruits. Those visits led me to a few observations. One, color and texture: velvet, rugged, dots, color changes, circles, shine, holes. 2. Shape. I have started to connect different clothing items by dissembling and reconstructing them in order to get new clothing. After many attempts, I turned them to 2-dimension sketches. I kept looking for different and new fabrics and textures using screen printing, digital printing. Here are a few examples of screen prints that are used in the clothes lining. I wanted to have a unique language for the collection. Later, we will be able to see a few more sketches from the process. Let me share with you the design process of one item from my collection. First, I sketched by drawing. I used pants and sleeve figure and tried different ways to connect them. Let me share with you the design process of one item from my collection. First, I sketched by drawing. I used pants and sleeve figure and tried different ways to connect them. I have built and sewed the sketches to a 3-dimension model and examined the proportions, the length, width and volume comparing to the body. Then I added color to the same item to check its effect. I have decided to extend the front part and to shorten the back part. Using Photoshop, I tried many colors and textures in various combinations. Eventually, I created the final model. This process was made to each item in the collection. While designing using the raw fabrics, I examined the different color combinations for each model and with consideration of the whole collection composition. I had the same process while designing the shoes. The shoes represent connection and hybridization between Oxford and Derby shoes and sandals. They are made of goat leather and fabrics from the collection. The bags were created by combining 2 flipped bags. The final fashion production. You are more than welcome to see the entire collection. Thank you for your time.
תודה.
Thank you, Lital, and congratulations. It is with great pleasure that I invite Sarah Rambishevsky to say a few words about her dear mother and the establishment of this significant prize.
הלו? כן, הכל בסדר. שלום לכם, ברוכים הבאים, מזל טוב ליטל. Most of the things that I wanted to tell you tonight, I will skip, because I don't think it's the place and time. But one thing about the prize is for sure, and I want you to know it, that this prize, the Lola Tauman Prize, is about passion. And if you allow me to be a bit pathetic, it's about love. It's about the love of her children for Lola, and it's about the love of Lola for fashion. I wondered I'm not sure, I wondered whether to talk to you about Lola's life, which finally influenced deeply her being such a wonderful mother and successful businesswoman. And I decided that I'm going to spare you all this, not only to spare you, but because of the fact that also in respect for Lola, who didn't want to share the horrors of her life, the time of the Holocaust, and she just wanted, I suppose, to skip this time, as long as she was able to, as long as she controlled her memories. She wanted, or she had to, delete, as we say today, from her memory, or, sorry, I don't know, do you hear me? Just a minute. Okay, she had to delete all what she went through, because otherwise she probably couldn't survive, as most of the Holocaust survivors. At least this was possible as long as she had busy days. I don't know how the nights were when memories took over. These are typical symptoms of post-traumatic behavior, I suppose. The founding and the establishing and the developing of the business of Kokomoden, which was in itself a continuously difficult task, offered her a way to fully realize her creativity, and she was able to experience an enormous success coupled with the admiration and love of her clients. All this helped her, of course, to move her bad memories into the background of her consciousness. And it helped, and it was a success, at least for the first 30 years of her having Coco and developing it. Lola really didn't mention the Holocaust, although I am, of course, mentioning it too much, probably. Nevertheless, although she didn't mention it, she left the tattoo of Auschwitz on her left arm. Probably can see it on one of the pictures, which grew with her and became part of her, her body, her mentality, her being. But it showed her not only what she went through, but also what she was able to endure, because she survived. The few times she mentioned the Holocaust and what she went through, she really mentioned only lucky moments. I mean, it was a lucky moment for her, probably, when she got married in the ghetto. She described it as lucky, was fun or nice or whatever. This is all we know about it. Probably it wasn't really that nice, but this is how she described it. She described to us another lucky moment in her life when she was in Auschwitz, and somebody, a resistant fighter who was also a communist inmate, a non-Jew in Auschwitz, recognized her, even without her, and told her that he owed her father some money because he took some clothes and didn't pay it, and in return he opened for my mother a large Kleiderkammer, I mean a place where all the clothes were stored there in Birkenau. My mother probably was in the striped clothes without hair and so on in Auschwitz, and she was completely in a situation of trance, but she took some clothes and some shoes and brought it back to the barracks where her girlfriends were. She shared it with them, and she also took the shoes, and this probably helped her to survive in a way. She also told us of a third lucky moment, because this is really all she talked told us about the Holocaust, which was on the last birthday of Hitler, when she was in a closed train somewhere, bombarded in Berlin, near Berlin, and could save her together with her camp sister, Bella, her son. The son of Bella is with us today, by the way. Yes. So, Lola's life seemed to be divided into two parts: the part before the war and the part after the war. Before the war, as we heard already and as we know, she was a normative Jewish teenager. She was very active in youth movements. I mean, she was together with her mother in the Beitar movement. I'm not quite sure whether it was for ideological reasons or for socializing. Probably it was to find a nice boyfriend or something like this. Cannot imagine otherwise. Yes, her parents, as we heard already, were textile merchants, and I exactly know how their shop looked like, because once when I walked with my mother on Allenby, this is already 20 years ago, I don't know whether you remember Allenby and Nachlat Benjamin at this time in Tel Aviv, all sorts of little shops of textile merchants. And suddenly she stopped and said, this is exactly how it looked like. And she looked into the open door of a shop where two religious Jews with beards were working with these bales of fabrics showing to customers. And I imagine that this was exactly how their shop at the marketplace number 10 in Kells looked like, with her father and grandfather in it. Lola decided to tell her story before she got too ill to remember and to speak. She decided to tell her story. It was to be the itinerary, the success story of a young woman from pre-war Kielce, Poland, to the German metropolis of Hamburg, and the creation of Kokomoden, the super modern, extravagant and daring first boutique in conservative Hamburg in the early 60s. It was quite an itinerary, of course. She wanted to tell the story in Polish, and I arranged for a friend, a Polish journalist, to work with her on it. She never lived to finish her story, and I wonder whether again she would have told only about the lucky moments, leaving out horrors and nightmares. I will never really know. But one thing is for sure: Kokomoden was to become a fabulous success story, her fabulous success story, against all imaginable odds. Lola succeeded in establishing and bringing to a flourishing and profitable endeavor a business which was in fact the fulfillment of her dreams. And she did it in such a way that only a persistent, powerful, and above all unconventional woman could do it. And unconventional she really was. Let me just give you one example: her very individual, extraordinary approach to religion. Here again, I'm going to spare you the details, but only one thing: Lola had her own religion, her own laws, her ways of worshipping her own God and observing his mitzvot. After the war, and probably much before the end of the war, at a time when she realized that her family and friends were gone, murdered, dead, she promised herself that if she survived, she would honor the religious practices of her family. Her father was an Alexander Rebbe, Chassid. It was to be a kind of living memorial. That was not at all an easy endeavor in the surroundings she lived in, conservative city like Hamburg and our family. But she succeeded to never drive on Shabbat, never ride never write on Shabbat, and never ate pork, of course. She observed the Shabbat a la Lola. Later, at the end of her life, when she was no longer capable to decide things, I took over. I took over and decided when the Shabbat starts and when the holidays are, all according to her mental or physical state, so that we could celebrate these days. She was not, of course not, as you understand, she was not at all observing the Shabbat as religious Jews do. But she had her rules for which there were no exceptions, never. Friday evening prayer over the candles, no writing or driving on Shabbat. However, working and earning money was allowed, but not filling out the checks. She was very liberal, never forced or even asked us to become observant. This part of her life belonged entirely to her own. Our duty was solely to be happy, not to suffer, not to restrict ourselves, also not on Shabbos. She would sign responsible for our sins in front of God. She would take over. It was in a kind of Christian sense. She loved fashion, and she loved the beauty which comes with it. And for herself, she loved hats and accessoires. As to the hats, though through a very special friendship with one of Germany's leading hat makers, Gerda Wessinger, Lola was able to wear real haute couture models. She would not use them on show at a derby in Ascot, where people would expect this kind of extravaganza. No. They were created for Lola's synagogue appearances, or better, performances. I mean, high holidays in Hamburg were nothing without Lola's hats, at least not on the women gallery. My mother's clients were mostly able to and spend a lot of money at Kokos. But they were in fact not the only visitors who spent time at her place, but this again is another story. If I say that Lola loved fashion and beauty, I mean it really in the purest way sense of the word. Lola would say she would say and believe really that a woman who smiles is beautiful. And I think, and especially with growing age, of course, that she was right. It was not the name behind the dress which mattered to her. It was the dress she believed in, she fell in love with. And then, if she found it, she was able to turn it into a cocoa piece. She visited the most exquisite fashion fairs in London and Paris, only to fall for a piece maybe on the Carmel market for some pennies. And then, when she found it, she could turn it into a big, oh yes, and very expensive hit at Coco's. If there's one advice I can give you, it would be passionate. Be passionate about whatever you do. And here the prize money, of course, can make a difference to the receiver. Many are those who are passionate about this or that, but who, because of circumstances out of our control, have to give up too easily. Not to believe in their capacities. Believing that they are incapable to live up to their dreams. But let me tell you one thing. If you are blessed with passion, and yes, it's a blessing, if there's something you really want, you are passionate about, if you are courageous, daring, and sometimes chutzpahdik, even a bit meshuggah, your chances are good to make it and to make your dream to come through. Lola was such a person. It would seem as if circumstances of her life were against her all way long, but she did not give up, and against all odds, she was able to bring others to believe in her and to rely on her, in her taste and her capacities. I wish you will keep up your passion and love for what you do, and if you persist, I'm sure that this will bring the success you are dreaming of. Batzlacha. And don't forget to share it with us. Before I leave, I would like to draw your attention to another subject, that of anti-Semitic elements in fashion, in art. I mean, it's my job, so. I am in the late August of this year, maybe you know it, the international clothing chain Zara removed from its stores a website, and from the website a blue and white striped sheriff shirt. Yes, you heard about it, with a 6-point yellow star on the chest, which was seen by many or some as reminding the striped uniforms with a yellow star worn by Jewish prisoners in Nazi concentration camps. Zara apologized for selling the shirt and intends to destroy those she manufactures. As I'm researching related debates, inter alia the legitimation of a provocation, the freedom of the artist, etc., where politics start and where art, freedom of speech and expression end, I wonder whether you, as young designers, are aware of these controversies, and whether you too are discussing the phenomenon in the light of political statements in art and so on. If you do, I would like to be there and, exchange some ideas. Thank you very much.